this narrative that Ethan's a boomer.
Well, this is just the first point.
Let's continue. Anytime reading is required, the juice is in the Instagram caption, or you need to read the caption of the TikTok. He gets so confused or doesn't see the point of it being included in the segment. Anytime reading is required, he gets so confused and doesn't see the point of it being included in the segment. I don't get it.
I think it's funny that
Why did he include this point? It's ridiculous.
I'm not gonna read it.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. I read shit all the damn time. Look, I'm reading this, aren't I?
You're confused.
Yeah, I'm damn confused. What doesn't mean? It's just a lie. Why did 3,500 people upvote this?
that's what I'm questioning.
He's confused by literally everything and then does not listen at all when Dan or anyone clearly explains. Like the delayed verbal recall thing yesterday. It's delayed because there's a delay. I knew that. I was making an interesting observation that the wording of it was not that intuitive. Clearly, the only delayed fucking recall is happening in your brain, punk.
Think about it.
All right. Did you know shitting is gay? We learned that.
I learned it on the show.
He's the sort of guy that gets horny when he takes a shit.
That's a crazy line.
Oh, yes.
It's funny, though. I mean, it is funny.
Funny, debatable.
It's
funny that he said that.
Yeah.
I think in certain contexts it could be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny when you play the soundbite.
Yeah. Yeah.
We met we met a few interesting characters this week between
Yeah.
We really did.
Sigma Nima.
Sigma Nima.
I had such high hopes for Sigma Nima. And my hopes did not meet.
We never discussed the follow-up of that. We discussed it a bit on the members
If you'd
show.
like to hear all of the juicy behind-the-scenes detail,
There you go.
I'm a member today.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting call. We have an update from Wayne. Ian gave Wayne Zach's phone number, and he said,
Okay.
"Thanks, baby, I'll come back." So,
Okay.
you guys want to bet how long it's going to take? I think he's going to text you either by the end of the weekend. He'll text you.
I'm trying to think, what am I feeling? I feel like he might not.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I get the vibe that he might actually have a life.
Yeah, he seems like he's got a lot going on.
But the way he was reaching
Hanging out
out
with
at the
Dave
end,
Foley.
Yeah.
No
that's
relation
true.
to the other Dave Foley.
That was kind
it
of.
was aggressive. Yeah,
And he's doing Shabbat dinner tonight, with Chinese food.
Right.
Next week.
Okay.
early.
I'm going to say it's going to take longer.
Yeah?
Okay, well,
If we're
that would be
taking bets.
impressive. I mean, certainly.
Over a full week.
He almost, frankly, unqualifies himself if he is respectful in ways.
Aggressive.
He's not the one. Let's see. So, yeah, okay, I'm confused by everything, and I don't listen to Dan. Would you listen to Dan if you were me? No,
Yes.
because you're me. No, because you're me. Why would you do anything else other than me?
Right. Just be you.
Literally doesn't make any sense. Of course you do the same thing I would do. I'm me. Come on, guys, think about it.
Is this a traffic?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's not forget all of his blunders while doing the member stream himself from home. That one I'll own. The man and technology just don't seem to get along. Listen, the Streamlabs, or no, the, what do you call
OBS.
it? OBS. It's like not a very intuitive program. And I don't know. I've not used that shit in like a decade by myself, so I'll own that. I don't know how to use OBS. And then Dan gets in there like, Dan makes it intentionally complicated to provoke me. He goes, oh yeah, you can only open shit on Firefox.
No, that was, hold on.
saved your life.
That saved your life more than once.
I
and
had
that was
already
implemented
docked
after
everything,
you
bro.
not everything. There was more to dock. There was more to dock.
When Dan, after Dan fixed the computer, you called me and made the phone save my whole number.
Exactly. It didn't help.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, in that case.
But
You
I
found
have
new ways.
something to say in your defense. I wouldn't know how to do OBS and whatever. Would you guys criticize me?
No.
Or is this like higher expectations when it comes to technology?
It is my job. But like, this isn't a shoestring operation here, guys. You know what I mean? This is not me sitting and doing Twitch streams by myself.
Also, we just had a baby. And,
Yeah.
And I know that there's a thing, mom brain, but I feel like there are probably also consequences on the way your brain right now is functioning as well. Because there's so much going on at home.
So much.
It's like a chaos right
Oh,
now.
gosh.
So much going on.
It is chaos,
Plus
and I'm not
tired.
exaggerating.
Stephen Francis, who he's a MIT, he's doing a PhD at MIT. He says, with Ethan managing all that on one laptop would be cumbersome, and window audio routing is not consistent, in my opinion. Like, I just get AV hiccups for no reason. So that's Stephen, who's doing a doctorate at MIT.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Who's writing for me. He's starting to be so Donna coded.
Cody said Ela Boomer too. Okay. I am.
I use ChatGPT.
You're loud, though.
I'm fucking hip and I'm plugged in. I use ChatGPT.
I think, you know, it's
Yeah.
less about the inability to use OBS, because I agree, it's not exactly the most intuitive program, and it takes a little bit of experience, and that was a very good excuse for the first even few months that you were doing it. But then the other, like, year and a half.
Well, Dan, it's like this. When you rely on Google Maps,
I rely on it for a lot. As a matter of fact, just had it pulled up here, taking a look at Glendora, California. On
nobody
the
cares,
210.
dude. Nobody
Nice.
even lives in Glendora.
Oh, excuse me. The fine people of Glendora would definitely disagree, but thankfully the 210 is looking totally clear in Glendora right now. So,
All right, Glendora.
you have an easy drive home on this Friday afternoon.
That's Dan for you.
Yeah.
H3 TV coming at you. Oh, we should do a GP coming at you, like Chief H3 TV coming at you.
I have it in my mega edit, but I'll pull that one aside.
You know when you use a navigational app, Google Maps, Apple Maps from Apple, whatever, and you can take a ride somewhere like somewhat complicated in your city, and you always rely on that. It's not easy to be like, oh, I know exactly how to get there once you've relied on that. It's like that, Dan. I sit there,
Yeah.
you know, I just push stream.
Right.
The thing is with you, I think it's because like you're efficient in other areas, like you're really good at gaming, and like you became super successful off of making videos and
Thank you
posting
for
them
saying all that.
yourself online. So sometimes when you do this stuff, I'm like, how the fuck is this the same person?
Because I haven't done anything for myself in a decade.
It's just Ethan, when he wants to, he will do it all.
Yeah.
It has that ability.
But that's what you know what I mean. That's what it's all about. I brought you, all you lovely people are here to babysit me in every conceivable way.
No, it's great. I love that
We all have jobs now.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare having to do everything.
And I get to have a life,
Sucks.
and I get to have all these wonderful young people taking care of me.
Yeah,
And I love it.
Yeah, till the end. We're gonna will you straight into that home.
That's right, man. I'll put all you guys in my will.
Only ever say goodbye at your funeral.
You're completely dependent on us.
Hey, girl.
Love that.
Absolutely.
This isn't. Yeah, someone said this isn't criticism. It's just fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. Appreciate that.
Okay. Well, that one wasn't too bad.
The confusion about everything, how he watches the video and misses the whole point of the video, even though he just watched it, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It happens a few times where like I'll click around and I'm trying to find a specific moment, and sometimes the timestamp doesn't take me to the exact place, and that triggers me.
Are we getting to that at some point? The timestamp?
Yeah, you want to talk? I mean, I'm not criticizing anyone for it. It just happens sometimes. Like I'll open a link, and I bet a lot of people can relate. If you have a browser open, and someone sends you an exact timestamp, you'll open it, and it'll just take you to fuck all. You have to close the browser again and reopen it. So I mean, it happens.
It is super annoying. Today I actually did a run through on your laptop, and one of them was off.
That's wonderful. Isn't that's great? Look at that.
Due diligence. Good job.
Like I said, babysitting. You know. Also, somebody said I have ADHD, which is, you know, I like any excuse I can. You mean HD? Has Ethan has mispronounced it for years. I know it's ADHD. What do you guys think? I'm like the biggest idiot in the world. I was voted smart stupid on the. Did you know that?
I heard you guys talk about that.
Oh, we have to check in on that. There's probably some progress, right?
There's.
Well, maybe on
I feel
Monday.
like there should be smart, stupid, and stupid smart. I feel like
separate thing.
the order.
Matters.
Smart stupid.
Which has the higher priority?
I don't want to know which one I
I
am.
like smart.
Then that's the one I am.
Yeah.
I love the guy, but being over 40 seems to be doing a number to his brain. First of all, I'm not even over 40, so you're something your brain.
Pop, you forget? 43.
Be at that table with you.
Dude, Google my age.
Girl.
I'm famous. Google my age. You know? Ask ChatGPT, how old is Ethan Klein? It knows. It is actually my birthday coming up. So I accept that.
So true.
Oh.
39.
44, right around.
39 years old. Still in my 30s and holding on.
We're getting old.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Whatever. Fuck it. What can you do?
Nothing you can do about it.
What can you do? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, what can you do? It's all a bunch of bullshit.
So true.
Like, you know, what a joke this whole thing is. Like, you get to be here for what, like a minute, and then you have to like have existential dread your whole life about what it means to not exist. Like, it's ridiculous. Why did you even put me here to begin with?
I know it's fucked.
Makes no sense.
Nonsense.
Like, what?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, why the fuck do we exist? I know what it'll say. That's a complicated and complex question. Shut up. You're an AI.
Shut up. Oh,
What?
we have it. We have the receipts. Would you like me to pull up, or you?
I'm pulling it. Distillation of his already ADHD. Okay, but I know what it is. First of all, there's a difference between knowing what it is and not being able to say it.
I had your back.
I actually went in to, because I've never heard you say HDHD. So I actually went in to prove you right, but then I stumbled upon
How did you
this.
do that? I'm boomer on that shit. Like, you guys do have all these crazy tools on the
Yeah, we
internet.
have
How did you do that? so
I
fast?
found this website a while back where you can just search for a keyword
of all of our videos.
all your videos.
What the?
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's just the
What?
transcripts
Yeah.
of every video
That
on a
is
particular channel.
insane.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah. Imagine having those tools when we were editing videos.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was doing everything so tediously
like,
and
the long
slow.
way.
Yeah. And it's part of the problem. It took me so long to edit a video. Why does my hairline look crazy right now? What did Wayne do to me?
Cursed your ass.
Oh no.
It's because you have lighter color here and it looks on the camera. It almost looks like it's not there.
The hat doesn't work good. Here.
No.
Why?
No.
Back more? What's up, bros? You had me a broski, bro.
A lip pillow, my guy.
When the teenagers coming? All right, so yeah, I'm a boomer. I mean, I accept some of that for sure. People are over the peace and love girly shout-outs. A lot of people have voiced their concern. 2,000 upvotes. With peace and love, let's end birthday shout-outs and hey girlies. You know, I know what you mean, but we've been doing them at the end of the show, which I think is pretty unoffensive. So if people want their hey girlies and their you know, peace and loves and birthday, like if it's at the end of the show, you can, you know, if you don't mind it. Sometimes funny stuff happens throughout it. It's worth watching, in my opinion. But if it's not your cup of tea, then, you know, certainly. But I agree that doing it throughout the show is a lot. And I think it's better if we just kind of take care of it all, either while I'm in the bathroom, like Dan does it's from time to time, or at the end of the show. So I hear you.
Well, that'll dovetail nicely into another complaint that's coming up.
Okay.
About the bathroom breaks.
Ethan is, this one is actually a defense one, which I love. Ethan is not your social justice warrior. Thank you for saying, yeah, exactly. On God. Oh, that was a young person that wrote this. That's awesome, man.
Perceptive.
On God. Some of you feel like Ethan is Batman and he should be jumping every time they turn on the bat signal. Homeboy and the team picks a few popular topics, breaks it down in various levels depending on how interested Ethan is, and moves on unless they're laughing at the situation again. He's not here to change the world. He's not here to spread awareness every time you see something bad on the internet. He's just making a damn show. You know what? That's worth saying. My goal on this show is nothing besides just being here 3-4 times a week and entertaining you guys and helping you get through the week. Anything beyond that is unintentional. I mean, listen, there was a point in my career when I was like the righteous Batman guy, and that's a shitty place to be. I don't like that place. I don't want to ever pretend. Listen, it's been a while since I could pretend to have the high road on anything. Let's be real. I much prefer that place, you know?
Fair enough.
But thank you so much for that. Appreciate the support. I think we've gotten to the point where they need to do a dry run on the show. This one I'll own. It's not great to hear, but it's true. We've gotten to the point where they need a dry run on the show. I don't know why exactly, but lately half the podcast just Ethan being confused about topics, what is written in the doc, or what they're even supposed to be discussing. I know people defend the live aspect, getting Ethan's first reaction, but with peace and love, that feels like a cop-out now. The end result is drawn-out discussions that are not cohesive and never really get past the setup. So this does happen from time to time, and I agree it could be prevented. Sometimes, you know, I can work to prevent this happening.
If I can defend you a little bit, and a little bit of myself, being that we put out so many shows and there's so many stories every day, you know, something could happen super late at night, and there's honestly no time for you to do, like, it would have to be like right before the show to do a complete rundown. So I agree we should do rundowns, but sometimes stories happen right before the show. Like,
everything's last minute, and sometimes accidents happen, but I think the big problem is how I handle it sometimes. Like, I draw it out and make it more awkward, and instead of just like moving on and sending a note like, hey, can you fix this up so I'll come back to it, and it just makes the whole thing worse, and I'll like click around and complain. I'll be like, I don't understand, what the fuck, why am I here in the video, I gotta go back, man, what the fuck, this is the wrong timestamp, and I'll just make it like way worse than it needs to be. So I think that, so, you know, you're right. This is a premier show, okay?
Maybe some people are the #1 podcast in the world.
So, yeah.
Go right here.
And also, while I'm defending you, if I could also defend Olivia, who also, again, we could always improve, and we're open to criticism, but some people have been very mean to Olivia this week that they definitely wasn't deserved.
About what?
Who would dare do that?
About, like, a topic that she, you know, it's like, first of all, we're preparing Monday, like the Monday show, we're preparing on Monday, and we have a few hours to come in and we do it, and I think she did a good job. There was one story that people were upset about. The 2 articles she referenced, she used everything in there, and people just completely shit on her, and I think it was.
What was it? It was about
the film festival.
That was such a weird fucking pushback on that one.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't even. Kelly Rowland in her quote about it said the other women that it happened to didn't look like me. I wasn't trying to make the thing about race.
That's what she said.
But that was her quote.
Olivia didn't get no details wrong. She included everything that was in the article.
Yeah.
There was one little aspect which is kind of self-implied about how the security guard was paid to tell people no photos. And again, you could say that, and we're open to criticism. You could let us know that. And Olivia kept telling me that, you know, she's sorry she missed it. I was telling her it's okay, it's not a big deal. Like, we all make mistakes. But they were just being so fucking aggressive for no reason.
I don't know where I feel like who are these people? Because like,
it was weird.
Where did all this come from? Because I saw that and I was like, this is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah. It's a lot of people just being like, I don't want any PowerPoints ever again too.
Jesus.
And it's just like there are
Dedicated
people who
haters.
don't like it.
I want them. Don't listen to that. The Reddit has scared me, if I'm being honest. It's tough because like it gets blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
The reality is that that's not the majority of the listeners, and I have the experience of being a listener, and I can tell you guys like all this stuff that people say, like, I can see why they're saying it. I get it, but I would never go out of my way to write any of that.
Yeah, no,
And it's not like a big deal to me when I listen. Like, yeah, Ethan, he'll have a whole fuss about like not having the right point, but sometimes that's part of what's funny. It depends.
Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's
not
annoying.
funny.
Yeah,
But that's just the show, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what happens when the show goes on for hours, so many days of the week.
I think sorry, go ahead, Will.
The shit on the PowerPoints is so silly and annoying because and I work on the highlights, right? So I see a lot of feedback on it. All the top 15 highlights-ish the past 367 days are based on Olivia's PowerPoint. And people love it. People love it.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Don't
Thank you.
ever
You guys
stop
don't
at
have to say any of
PowerPoint.
this.
Yeah, and no, I was telling Olivia, sincerely, what I believe is because, you know, Ela, you're just here on the Friday show. Sam and Lena's job, they're not on camera as much. Olivia, out of the girls on the crew, she's on the most. And sadly, I think there's a lot of, I'm not even saying misogyny, I think there's a lot of jealousy. She gets it both ways. I think there's a lot of jealousy
Yeah,
on the
there's
girls'
also
end.
so much love.
Yeah.
It's hard to like take things in the right amount.
It's true. It's also the people who are nice are so much louder and nicer than the people who are mean. Like it's much more an abundance of love than
The legendary
sometimes
Bella
it's scary.
Simmons says, Olivia, you are a queen. Do not listen to any of that bullshit.
Bella.
Queen supporting fellow women.
Love you.
Look,
Thanks everybody.
for
Love you.
myself, I think it's mostly aimed at me. I don't want to make excuses. You know, I could do better. And, you know, I think the show would be better if I
I
would
just,
focus
I
a little
will
more on-
say, just be easy on yourself too, because we did just have a third child, and we have a lot going on in our personal life. So
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
It takes a minute to,
Yeah, when we
to
first...
find your groove again with the new. I mean, I'm having that right now. It's hard to figure out. Okay, what is my life like now?
Yeah.
It's a whole new situation now.
When we first started doing this many shows, H3 TV was our Monday show, and it was more like a Twitch stream type thing where we just,
Right.
and then it became like a full-blown show, which is cool, but that's what comes with putting out that much content. And it's all
Yeah.
falls on, you know, majority on Ethan. So,
Thanks, AB. Also, we're prepping the live show, which is an insane fucking thing. But again, I don't want to make excuses. You know, we'll do our best. I'll do better. I'll do better. This shout out to Dunka Rumagoo. I do not watch H3 for a polished product. Excuse me? I watch it for chaos, turmoil, California Pizza Kitchen, Detroit, Michigan, the learning along the way. Just chill and enjoy the ride. I watch because Ethan is constantly talking about cats. I only watch for stamp.com ads.
Yeah, shout out.
There's real fans in this chat right now.
Wait, was there a question about somebody asking if Allie uses stamps.com? If you scroll up a little bit.
Say what?
Well, scroll up.
She so does.
Go back up. Yeah, I need to know if Allie is still using the service. Yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah.
She was just telling me about it.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah. Yeah. Won't stop talking about it.
I think she's writing a book about it.
So yeah, obviously this one is not a complaint, but I saw these two threads at the same time, both with like 3,000 upvotes. I thought it was funny because they're basically saying the exact opposite of one another. So
You do
it's
see
mixed
that.
opinions.
Yeah.
It's mixed opinions here
point.
on this one.
The only complaint I have about the show is I want more story segments and more Ian, but I'll settle for more story segments. Actually, we were going to do a story segment today, which
Yeah,
we
but
can
only
move.
have
Those are
10
evergreen.
minutes
We'll move them.
left. Probably save it. But yeah, we have one on deck.
Yeah, fun one, I think. About what was the story at your high school. Kind of fun.
The incident. What was the incident at your high school? What's the prompt?
I have relics.
We all have stories related.
We need to leave. Oh shit, guys. I know I have two more. I'll blow through them. I know the community is mostly girlies now, but this one did get points. Don't you get tired of all the girly drama, trigger warning, manosphere, celebrity type content? I feel like the show the last few months has revolved so hard around girly culture that it now just feels like catering. Bless you, XDEFIANT doesn't even seem to care too much about it. And to be honest, as a guy, neither do I.
I think we need examples, more specific.
Yeah, I'm not sure I
examples.
understand.
Well, I mean, like the Manosphere content.
That's not girly.
I agree that it's played the fuck out though, but like that's not girly
That's
shit.
not really.
Right.
Like I said, I no longer fit the audience demographic, but come on, the fun content is just so much better and definitely the highlight of 2024. I mean, listen, we're trying to do we got a lot of time to fill. I agree though, the Manosphere shit and all the like essay and all the freaking constant people like R-wording people is...
Yeah, I think this person has a point. Their framing is a little bit weird. I don't think it's necessarily that it's girly content, but you could definitely be sick on the same type of topics being talked about all the time.
I saw one, I don't know if it's in here, but they said I had to stop watching because of all the constant talk about essay and all that. Like, I agree with the guys, they're right, and it's good, they're doing it, I guess, but it's just too much for me. And I get that. I think we need to take a long break from talking about it. It's just a shame that it's like every fucking story, you know? But I agree. I agree with you.
We like doing the fun, silly content too, so we definitely always want to use that.
And we're always focusing on that. This person says, I'm really just watching for the traffic updates.
Oh, okay. Give me just one moment. Yeah, I don't actually have my Google Maps open. Pardon me for being unprepared for my job. Are you okay back there?
Oh shit.
Can I get all good?
Everyone good?
All good. We're all good. Nashville. Nashville, Tennessee. Anyone? Anybody out there from Nashville watching right now? About to head home? We'll avoid the 65 right at the junction. The 40 split. Real backed up, especially on the northbound side. Southbound, pretty green, actually. You're going to be flying down all the way from Cumberland Heights down to Hadley Park. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. All right, we do have to go. I got to make sure we get home in time to see our beautiful...
I just thought, did you send me a message saying wrap it up?
Yeah, I was just... I was just kidding.
That's usually me sending him.
Yeah. I have to feed my children. They need to eat food. And they're starting to eat more, which is nice. I like to see it.
Yeah.
Eddie's been eating more.
Eddie's been eating more. It's so nice.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We had a really fun week of shows. As far as the feedback goes, we are listening and we are learning. And your concerns mean so much to me. They go in one ear, percolate around my brain before they go out the other ear. We are distilling this in a beaker, your feedback, into purifying water. Okay, I don't know. But have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll be back on Monday as usual. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our members. Thank you to every single one of you watching. Appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Women's health.
Like, whether or not you like that, whether or not you like trans women, like, you should still be like, yeah, actually, if you're on hormones at all for a certain amount of, if you're on estrogen at all, you should still be getting those treatments.
If he was smarter, he would have been like, just more proof that transitioning is unsafe. instead of just being like, well, that doesn't happen. You want breast cancer. There was the time that he was live streaming and he had his bookmark bar visible in his browser. And there was a bookmark for something called Brighton Bells, which according to Google is a little bit of a brothel, in that it's exactly a brothel.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine him stomping into your brothel? Like breaking down the door like Shrek with the Kool-Aid Man song. The time he said doctors who help trans kids are just like Nazis, who famously didn't help trans kids.
Famously loved trans children.
The time he had to hide his car from the repo men because he couldn't afford it because he was too toxic for anybody to hire, so we had to keep moving it.
Okay, that is relatable.
It wasn't even like the musical was going to be like supporting trans people or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not like anything.
They just wanted you to shut your mouth.
Yeah. And he
Stop being so
He
weird
didn't
about
even
trans
need to shut his mouth. He just had to have his name taken off.
Yeah,
He was
they
still
didn't want
allowed
you
to
to
say
shut your
whatever the
mouth.
fuck he wanted.
They were
He
just
wasn't
like,
being
we're gonna
silenced.
license this from you, but we're not gonna put your name on it.
Yeah. Because we wanted to do well and we believe in the project.
Yeah.
He's like, well, fuck that.
Your name is toxic.
The time he joined a lesbian dating app, photoshopped a photo of himself as a trans woman, posted it, and then started trying to out people as trans that he found on the site.
I remember that. That was
My favorite fan theory about that is everyone he posted was just like other gender critical men doing the same thing. Like the Spider-Man meme.
It's one of those examples of something where it's like, I think you just wanted to join a dating app as a lesbian and see lesbians' profiles. Like,
Yeah,
I think
what was the
You're
purpose of
just
that?
being a pervert. Like, you're just being a weird creep. And trying to match with women who don't want you.
That time he didn't know the difference between a horse and a chair. He must have-
That's a classic.
is one of my favorite Graham Ohms. That time he did a comedy show in broad daylight to elderly TERFs because no venue would have him. And he was on like a foot tall stage with like 15 people around. And pretty much nobody laughed.
I don't do stand-up. I know a lot of stand-ups have been there, but it's rubbing
But
salt
not
into the
after.
wound. Yeah, and it's rubbing salt into the wound that it's like people who are only there.
Now, apologies in advance because it was going to be an otherwise quiet week for us on the whole Elon Musk front.
God damn it.
But he is now at the center of what could be the wildest social experiment that we've seen in recent memory, thanks to a recent report regarding a completely isolated Amazonian tribe suddenly getting full access to the internet thanks to Musk's Starlink satellite ISP.
Oh no.
And so a lot of this, not entirely his fault, but he is the one who founded this company and sent all those satellites into space, cluttering up our atmosphere. So what does happen when you give a tribe that is willingly cut off from the rest of the modern world access to phones and the internet? Basically our own history, our own timeline, but in fast forward, with the consensus being that while it is great for very specific reasons, the social implications seem pretty dire. And access has led to members of the tribe frequently getting into arguments with each other online, general trust dwindling, family members feeling detached, some members spending a decent amount of time checking out a little porn-a-rooney, and what appears to be an apathy towards doing anything but sitting on their phone, which has caused the tribe to start limiting the hours that the service is even turned on.
This is a disaster. After, look around, like, look what fucking cell phones have done to our society. And you're like, you know what? We should impose this on a people who've managed to successfully avoid all of it.
Now, yeah, it hasn't gotten to this, and I don't think it can because it's not the same thing, but it is slightly eerily reminiscent of when Facebook provided internet and phones to Myanmar.
Well, that was a extra fucked up situation.
Yeah, but like, hey, wouldn't it be great if everyone had access to the internet?
Nothing bad has ever happened by giving people more access to the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So this whole thing with the Starlink and the isolated tribes, it's all happening as a result of a partnership with two of the world's biggest assholes, Elon Musk and Jair Bolsonaro, who was president of Brazil at the time of the partnership and helped to facilitate the relationship and deployment of the receivers, notably during an event where the two were promoting the fact that they were connecting the Amazon, which has since resulted in a reported 66,000 contracts in the region. The indigenous tribe at the center of this story are the Marubu people who reside within the Amazon rainforest and hadn't even been in contact with the outside world until the 19th century. And until recently, they were still very isolated, having to travel at least 50 miles to the closest city in order to interact with the modern world. That all changed when one member, a damn millennial, having split time between the city and the rainforest, decided it was time for his tribe to get fully connected.
He was coming back and he was like, I've seen things you wouldn't believe.
Millennials have killed Amazonian tribes.
Now, look, we're not going to say that there are no benefits to giving an otherwise disconnected tribe access to the internet all of a sudden, because the internet can be used in an extremely positive way if users want to use it that way. Having the entirety of human knowledge at your fingertips is incredibly powerful. But once you've had it, it's also nearly impossible to avoid the dopamine rush of arguing with people, playing video games, accessing a truly endless amount of entertainment, and of course, cranking your hog. So we're not saying this is all bad. We're just saying that the internet can, and has in many cases, had an extremely negative effect on society. Do the negatives outweigh the positives? We're not entirely sure. I mean, we're coming to you from the internet. You're watching on the internet. There's a lot of good stuff on the internet, a lot of horrific stuff on the internet.
I feel like it's mostly bad, increasingly so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little weird to see an otherwise isolated group of people fall into exactly the same habits as everyone else once they're handed a phone with internet access. But let's start with how exactly the internet came to the Marubu people. And please head to the link down in the description below. Read the full New York Times article because it is fascinating.
First, the millennial tribesmen who wanted to get everyone connected. One Marubo leader, Enoki Marubo, all Marubo use the same surname, 40, said he immediately saw Starlink's potential. After spending years outside the forest, he said he believed the internet could give his people new autonomy. With it, they could communicate better, inform themselves, and tell their own stories. Enoki emerged as a leader of the next generation, eager to pull his tribe into the future. Enoki has split his life between the forest and the city, working at one point as a graphic designer for Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So when Marubo leaders became interested in getting internet connections, they went to him to ask how. Enoki got his answer when Mr. Musk came to Brazil. In 2022, the SpaceX owner and Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil's president at the time, announced Starlink's arrival in front of a screen that said, "Connecting the Amazon."
Last year, he and a Brazilian activist recorded a 50-second video seeking help getting Starlink from potential benefactors. He wore his traditional Marubu headdress and sat in the maloca. A toddler wearing a necklace of animal teeth sat nearby. They sent it off. Days later, they heard back from a woman in Oklahoma.
Oh, good.
And okay, it does get pretty interesting right out of the gate here because the woman who got in contact with the tribe, Allison Renew, is the same woman who claimed to have saved that girls' robotics team from the Taliban, only for that team to put out a statement, please asking her to stop taking credit for their rescue.
Interesting. Is she an evangelical Christian trying to convert people around the world?
I don't think it's that, but that would make sense.
That would be because, like,
I think she's just one of those types that's like, I want to help anyone who asks me, as long as they're not from my own community.
Yeah, fuck those people.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it is, I would have guessed evangelicals would be all about this because...
yeah, they download the Bible app.
For them, like, these, like, isolated tribes, it's like rare Pokemons.
Mm-hmm. They got to go there and convert.
Yeah. If you get there first, God gives you a bigger...
They haven't heard of the horrors yet. Yeah. Yeah, also, since it just makes total sense, of course this woman is a landlord alongside about a dozen other jobs like chief executive, pilot, equestrian, humanitarian, etc.
That's a lot of jobs.
You get the picture. Inoke, alongside another activist named Flora Dutra, found her info after seeing photos of Renew at SpaceX HQ. They made the video asking for help, and Renew donated the cash and acquired the satellite receivers to connect the tribe. And back to the article.
The internet arrived on the backs of men. They trudged miles through the forest, barefoot or in flip-flops, carrying 2 antennas each. Just behind were Inoke, Ms. Dutra, Ms. Renault, and a cameraman documenting her journey. In the villages, they nailed the antennas to the tops of poles and plugged them into solar panels. The antennas then began connecting Starlink satellites to villagers' phones. Some Marubo already had phones, often bought with government welfare checks, to take photographs and communicate when in a city. But alongside the instant access came, of course, the issues. The internet was an immediate sensation. It changed the routine so much that it was detrimental, Inoke admitted. In the village, if you don't hunt, fish, and plant, you don't eat. Leaders realized they needed limits. The internet would be switched on for only 2 hours in the morning, 5 hours in the evening, and all day Sunday. During those windows, many Marubo are crouched over or reclined in hammocks on their phones. This is sad.
Kinda. And again, yeah, they do go out of their way to point out all of the positives, communicating with family members and other tribes via WhatsApp, sending alerts about medical issues, educating the tribe's children, and yeah, lots more. I mean, there's, like I said, there's good things on the internet.
Yeah, sure. This is like, I'm thinking of like Killers of the Flower Moon, like the whole like first act of that, where it's like, yeah, no, there are obviously like huge benefits to the Osage like embracing modern society, but I mean, especially in that movie, there were tremendous downsides, but even even more basic downsides of like loss of culture and whatnot.
Yeah, but in the months since the access was turned on, trends within the tribe were forming. After only 9 months with Starlink, the Marubo are already grappling with the same challenges that have racked American households for years. Teenagers glued to phones.
You always on your phone.
Wait till they get hot chip.
You got any games on that phone?
Teenagers glued to phones, group chats full of gossip, addictive social networks, online strangers, violent video games, scams, misinformation, and minors watching pornography.
Like, I feel like it's morally wrong to just like push the internet on people, especially when there's like so many ways for them to suffer abuse.
So it wasn't
manipulation and whatnot.
To be clear, this wasn't pushed on them. They heard about the good stuff from the millennial guy, and the tribes were like, oh, we'd like that.
If the government but this is a government project, and I feel like the government has a duty to like roll this out in a way that is ethical.
Funny you should mention that, because there was supposed to be internet training from the people that worked to get it out to this tribe. There was supposed to be some safety guidelines and a bit of education that goes along with what you should believe or not believe on the internet, or how you should be consuming things. And apparently that just hasn't happened.
I mean, it's Brazil.
So the journalist also writes about a meeting amongst the tribe just 7 months after Starlink was turned on. As proceedings began, some leaders in the back of the audience spoke up. The internet should be turned off for the meetings, they said. I don't want people posting in the groups, taking my words out of context, another said. During the meetings, teenagers swiped through Kwai, a Chinese-owned social network. Young boys watched videos of the Brazilian soccer star Neymar Jr., and 2 15-year-old girls said they chatted with strangers on Instagram.
Oh, no!
This new window to the outside world had left many in the tribe feeling torn. Some young people maintain our traditions, said Tamasé Marubo, 42, the tribe's first woman leader. Others just want to spend the whole afternoon on their phones.
Kaipa Marubo, a father of 3, said he was happy that the internet was helping educate his children. But he also was concerned about the first-person shooter video games his 2 sons play. Oh, no! I'm worried that they're suddenly going to want to mimic them, he said.
They keep running around and saying, no Russian, no Russian.
They keep saying slurs to me.
Yeah. The other day, they kicked me over and started teabagging me, they call it.
God, especially like for the youth of America can't fucking handle all the stimuli on the internet. The youth of a tribe in the Amazon.
Especially like a mobile version. Like it's just like in most cases, it's just like a casino. Just you got so many microtransactions and bonuses and things flying off. It's pretty stimulating.
I don't like this. I'm worried that they're suddenly going to want to mimic them, he said. He tried to delete the games, but believed his sons had other hidden apps. Of course they do. Alfredo Marubo, leader of a Marubo Association of Villages, has emerged as the tribe's most vocal critic of the internet. The Marubo passed down their history and culture orally, and he worries that knowledge will be lost. Everyone is so connected that sometimes they don't even talk to their own family, he said. He is most unsettled by the pornography. He said young men were sharing explicit videos in group chats, a stunning development for a culture that frowns on kissing in public. We're worried young people are going to want to try it, he said of the graphic sex depicted in the videos. I mean, yeah. They are going to want to try it. Yeah. He said some leaders had told him they had already observed more aggressive sexual behavior from young men.
So now
we found an uncontacted tribe and we introduced them to the world via Andrew Tate. This is what happened.
A inadvertent wild social experiment.
Yeah. It is yielding interesting results.
Yeah. So now the local government and other agencies are worried that a continued rollout to other tribes could cause even more issues, and that the activist who is bringing the internet to these isolated tribes isn't doing enough to teach people about the dangers of internet access. Inoke and Ms. Dutra said they plan to provide internet training. No Marubo interviewed said that they had yet received it. In April, Ms. Renault traveled back to the forest. At Inoke's request, she bought 4 more antennas. 2 were headed to the Karubo, a tribe of less than 150 people that was first contacted in 1996 and still has some members in full isolation.
Did they ask for this?
So again, the tribe elders were like, oh, that stuff you're talking about in the city sounds awesome. We should definitely have that here. And they do make good use cases for it because that helps, convince people to bring it there, because they're like, oh, in the article they talk about someone getting bitten by a snake. It's like before you had to get on like the radio and coordinate this stuff, and now it is easier.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out like over the next few years, because there's like similar stuff.
Interesting is certainly a word.
So there's there's a lot of organizations that are like all about building wells in like Africa, and in a lot of cases like the people in the town will destroy the well at the first opportunity because it just completely fucks up the entire social fabric. Before, like walking the 20 miles or whatever to get the water was like a central part of their day. And then you take that away and it throws everything off. And that's just a small change compared to giving the internet to tribes in the Amazon.
I would say that especially the water wells are probably a net benefit, but I have no fucking clue. Who am I to know?
It is a net benefit looking at it just totally rationally. Like, hey, you used to have to walk like all the way to like the river or the hot spring, and now you can get it here. But just instantly adding that, like, and also like
the intentions are very good.
Without really their consent, just sort of doing it like, hey, we're doing this for you. It can be, it throws off the social sort of balance in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but hold on. It is important to state that we have no fucking clue if this is actually good or bad for these tribes.
I mean,
we are only using our experience with the internet and the people who use it here as reference. Maybe this is good, but either way, Ms. Dutra definitely wants us in particular to shut the fuck up about it. The criticism, she said, was part of a long tradition of outsiders telling the indigenous how to live. This is called ethnocentrism, the white man thinking they know what's best.
Okay, what about the people in your own fucking tribe who are criticizing you? Well, I fucking hate this shit. They're like, oh, well, obviously, white man, you're not listening to me, the indigenous person. I'm like, but there are people in your tribe quoted in this very article saying the exact same things I'm saying. Anyways, the millennial tribe guy's dad seems a bit worried about all this, saying that the tribe's journey with the internet had been foretold. Decades ago, the most respected Marubo shaman had visions of a handheld device that could connect with the entire world. It would be for the good of the people, he said. But in the end, it wouldn't be. In the end, he added, there would be war. Oh my God. His son sat on the log across from him, listening. I think the internet will bring us much more benefit than harm, he said. At least for now. Whoa. Regardless, he added, going back was no longer an option. The leaders have been clear, he said. We can't live without the internet. Well, you can! You did this whole fucking time!
It might take a while to put that genie back in the bottle, but I think you can put it back in the bottle.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, we'll just have to see how it turns out.
Look, I am in no way involved in this. I am just observing and reading the articles, and it's like, all right, well, people seem like they are determined to let this happen, and hey, that's none of my business.
Yeah.
So,
like the fact that we're trained at all, and it's just like there's such a long like documented history of similar sort of like cultural leaps forward for isolated indigenous people and like how that worked out. There should have been way more care put into how they did this, I think.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? Maybe a built-in firewall that stops pretty much all access except for like certain like communication apps or education. Like, I have no idea. Again, none of my fucking business.
I don't fucking know. I just feel like the way this was done was not the right way.
Yeah.
Anyway, we certainly cannot wait to see how all this turns out. I guess it's probably obvious since there's a lengthy track record of what happens when anyone gets access to the internet. It's usually not great. But again, there's of course positives. Sure. It's just, okay, think about like you living in the first world or the developed world, sort of growing up with the internet, sort of learning how to recognize things that are more reliable, things that are less reliable, having a certain sense of media literacy about how to use the internet.
You have almost an intuition having lived on it for
your entire life.
Yes.
And you take away all of that experience and then you feed someone the 2024 internet, like that seems...
It's like having never seen the news before and just showing Fox News and being like, look, this stuff's all actually happening.
Like, you could show these people fucking deep fakes and AI images and convince them of fucking anything. It's not good.
But speaking of inadvertent social experiments, nobody does a better job of ruining lives than your local police department.
Yeah.
And this week we got another great example of why that is, thanks to an unannounced demonstration at a local police department that was apparently meant to teach some young students a lesson about apparently the unreliability of witness statements or something.
Oh.
Cops orchestrated a fake shooter scenario where a masked gunman burst into the room and pretended to open fire, sending kids diving for cover.
Fucking excuse me, what?
Yeah, unplanned, unannounced.
Speaking of social experiments,
yeah,
my God.
very insane. What a country. Here's local Vermont outlet 7 Days with the story. While teaching a class to high school students on Wednesday, Burlington police officers staged a surprise demonstration in which a...
Never forget, all matter of conservative grievances are just something that I made up in my mind and it scared me. I had a scary thought and now it's your problem. Let's hear what Jordan Peterson's Pride Month grievances are.
Having this interview in Pride Month, and so what are my thoughts about Pride Month? Well, the first thing I would say is that you should be very careful what you name things.
Bro, you can't be wearing this gas shirt and be like, oh, the gays in Pride Month. It's like, bro, you need a little bit of homosexuality in your life, big dog. Okay? At least, like, put on a different suit if we're going to be talking shit about the queers, okay? I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. What is happening here? What the... That's gallery department.
And pride is not a virtue. And I've brought that up with people before, and their objection always is, well, they don't really mean pride. People are just trying to affirm their own identities. And, you know, fair enough, I suppose, to some degree, but that was the name that was chosen, and that's the name that stuck. And pride is a cardinal sin, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that pride means something like stubborn refusal to change when evidence of error is accruing, and it's not a good thing. There's a real tinge of narcissism, sexual narcissism about the whole pride spectacle. And, you know, do people have the right to express their sexuality the way they see fit? To some degree, if it's consensual.
He's like, yeah, only in the degrees that I agree, not if it's gay stuff.
And among adults, but generally among human beings with any degree of civilized comportment whatsoever, it's a pretty damn private affair. We tend to be private in our sexual conduct as a species, and so this isn't exactly private. And it's also the case that identities based on something as narrow as
keep it in your bedrooms,
sexual desire, let's say, aren't identities at all. They're pronouncements of subjection to instinctual whim. And I also have a real problem with the idea of the LGBT plus, etc. community, because it's not a community. And it's especially not a community right now because the trans pushing, gender affirming butchers and liars primarily target young people whose most likely outcome on the sexual front is homosexuality. So the trans gender affirming butchers and liars are differentially destroying the youthful gay community. And that's not a community by any stretch of the imagination. And there's a famous conservative thinker, Chesterton, and Chesterton has a concept, the fence, and Chesterton's fence is based on the observation that if you're walking somewhere you don't understand and you come across a fence, you should probably not tear it down because you don't know what it keeps in or out. And the Pride movement has torn down a lot of fences, and maybe some of those fences needed to go, but all of them didn't need to go. And there's plenty of monsters coming out to play now. And I would say that's especially true on the transgender affirming side. And that's why we're seeing this butchery in the medical community, abetted by idiot allies and driven by greed. And those aren't the worst monsters that exist. And so if you tear down enough fences, you're going to find out what they're for.
I really do wish you would just cut to the chase. You know what I mean? I wish you would just be like, trans people are groomers or something. Like, I never thought that I would say these words, but it's like, bro, just say it. Like, you don't have to take the long way home, you know? Just be like, trans people are weird and they're groomers or something like that. Like, just cut it down. What is this word salad? Well, analytically speaking, the trans-affirming care are actually done in a complex scenario of butcheries. It's just like, yeah, dude, just say it's a slippery, yeah, exactly. It's a slippery slope, and also that they're turning the kids gay. That's it. See, I did it. I did it in 3 seconds. That's the point he's trying to make. He's the centrist intellectual. He's not, though. Not anymore.
Now, I read recently, like this week, that support for gay marriage is plummeting. Right.
Where did you read that? That is not a real thing. What the fuck's he talking about? What is he saying? Where is it plummeting, bro? What is real? Let's see. Support gay marriage plummeting. Oh, this is it dipped in 2023. Okay. It dipped to 71%. Bro, dude, it's over. Gay rights are over, dog. Wow. Guys, it's done. It's done. It's Jover. Like, not to be, I mean, it wouldn't even matter if it actually did plummet, for the record, like if it actually went down to like 50%, because ultimately that doesn't mean it's correct to be homophobic or transphobic, right? Like, there are plenty of positions that I assume that I advocate for that are not exactly super popular, right? I do it because it's right, not because it's popular. But having said that, on this issue, it is like historically high, man. Like, what are we talking about? What is going on? Share of young adults who supported same-sex marriage declined to 71% last year. Yeah, it went from 69% the year before to 67%. It's Jover. Why would support be the same when we legalized it? No, it for the record, yeah, it went up dramatically post-legalization, and it's just like stably been around 60 to 70%, which is as close to like damn near every single person as you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Remember, 20% of Americans, you can always find 20% of Americans that will say, I agree with any unimaginably insane thing. Okay, 20 to 30% of Americans will always, no matter what, believe in the most unhinged shit. That is the Hasanabi standard, as you guys know. 30% of Americans will always agree. It could be literally the dumbest thing on the planet. Anyway, 30% of Americans believe Jesus is coming back before 2059. No, it's much higher than that. I'm saying at least 30% of Americans will believe the dumbest thing. 20 to 30% of Americans.
It's like, well, keep pushing. Keep pushing. You're going to lose everything you've gained. And I'm not celebrating that at all. That's not the point at all. But
he's not. Yeah, it might seem like he's celebrating that, but he's not celebrating that at all, okay? It looks like he's celebrating that, but actually he's not. Please, I promise you he's not. He definitely hates that homophobia is on the rise, which, by the way, by his own metrics, is not by a lot, for the record. It's just like people are, 3% less supportive.
Like, I'm just done with it. I don't like the flag. I think it's a piece of idiocy. I don't understand why it changed.
Okay, to be fair, I agree with the rainbow color shit. I do think personally the rainbow one is like, it's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not. It's all the colors. Pick a better grouping of colors. Okay? It's just ugly. It's so ugly. It's like you put it on merch, it's like, ugh. Like at least Trans Pride has like a decent grouping of colors. Bisexual Pride has like a decent grouping of colors. Wait, are you being serious? Oh, dude, you've never heard me say this? I've talked about this quite a bit. But this is actually serious. I think that Lesbian Pride has a decent grouping of colors. I think that the rainbow is just like so ugly, if that makes sense. And it's not even like, this isn't even this has nothing to do with like gay rights at all, by the way. It's just simply that when you put all the colors together, it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't look that good. Yeah, thinking the rainbow is tacky is the gayest thing you can say, and therefore strengthens your allyship. Oh no, for sure. It's fully gay of me to be like, it's tacky, because it is. This one slaps. Isn't the point of the pride flag what? Supposed to represent every color under the rainbow? Yeah, no, it is. I'm just saying that like the color palette featuring every color is so tacky. I mean, there's not really much you can do about it. It is what it is. Who cares? But I have talked about this before.
Changes every bloody week. I don't know who makes those decisions. I don't like the acronym and all the mystery surrounding it. I don't like the fact that the LGBT agenda, whatever that is, increasingly dominates the school system. I don't like the fact that it's targeted at young people.
Remember, never forget, all matter of conservative grievances are just something that I made up in my mind and it scared me. I had a scary thought and now it's your problem. Like, he's not even hiding it. He just literally like, I don't even know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but it scares me and now it's your problem. I'm going to make it your issue, okay? It's so stupid. When you think about it from that point of view, you're like, why are we even having an argument about this? Like, what? So you're saying you got scared? Okay, like a child? Like, yeah, cool. He doesn't like the history surrounding it, and then not wanting gay people to be killed for being gay. I mean, I think that is true. He probably wants the return to whatever he thinks is tradition, but which includes like, lynching gay people and stuff. But I think he just, at this stage, he doesn't even know what's going on, but it's very fearful. It's like, oh, okay. I guess we got to deal with this now. I guess this is our thing now. Sorry. Old man imagined a scary future.
And I think the surgery, the gender affirmative care movement, I think it is Nazi Auschwitz level awful. That they should not only stop.
Ironic, because the Nazis also were very, very anti-trans and very anti-gay, just like Jordan Peterson is. And I'm imagining a pastor of the Nazis like, this is just like Nazi behavior. We must stop the trans medical research is like Nazis. They're just like the Nazis.
stop. And now, as they've decided to do in the UK and in most places in Europe, but I think all the people that were involved in the surgical transition of minors should be imprisoned. So there's a lot of house cleaning to do on the pride side of things. And I don't believe that a celebration of an identity that encapsulates something like 3% of the population before it became a fad.
Even transgenders back then? Chatter, you consistently have some of the funniest questions, which is why I haven't banned you. Yes, okay? Yeah, of course there were transgenders back then, dude. What the It's not like an invention. Bro, you really think we invented trans people in like 2013 or something? Like, what do you think? That's so funny. Yeah. In the year 2013, trans people were invented and nothing has been the same. Yeah. Yeah. New gender expansion pack. God knows what will happen by 2025.
Is inclusive in any manner whatsoever. So I think pretty much all of it's a lie. And it's a dangerous lie. And it's a lie with real monsters hovering on the edges. And so, and like, enough, as far as I'm concerned. Enough pride in the churches, enough pride in the bloody banks. I don't want to walk into the bank of Nova Scotia and be celebrating pride. It's like I want to go and put my money in or take my money out without any political idiocy. And certainly
it's like, okay, I do want to clarify that just because I think the rainbow color scheme is tacky doesn't mean that I have an aneurysm when I see it. This guy's so stupid. He's like, we have to defend Western civilization and I will be the strongest warrior. Also, I had a heart attack when I saw a rainbow colored Nova Scotia bank logo. These two things don't work side by side, man. You can't be defending Western civilization that's falling while simultaneously be like, I almost died